scheduled. Alright, there we go. I was like, why does it say it's scheduled? Alright. There we go. Put it out. Alright. Should be live now. How's it going, Brady? Yeah, late stream. I was busy today, and then I watched the fights, and so now we're live. Also, because I like spent the day with dogs, and then I went to the comic shop, read some comics, watched the fights, and now let's talk about those comics. How's it going, Night Brick? What's up, Logan? Alright, sounds good, man. Glad you liked it, Justin. So, I caught up on King in Black today, because like I talked about before, I read the first issue, and I really liked it, so I went to my comic shop today, and I was like, if they have all the other issues, I'm going to catch up and read them, and I believe it's only 4 issues in, so I think I'm caught up, so I got issues 3 through 4. Well, first, let's just go through what I picked up today. So I got 3 through 4. 2 through 4, I mean. So I got... Thanks, man. So I got King in Black. I got caught up on that. And then I got issue 2 of Superman Future State. Ooh, $9. Yeah, for like 19 pages of Superman. Great. New issue of Darth Vader. Newest issue of Thor. Which is freaking Thor is amazing, by the way. Donny Cates just killing it. Not much, dude. What about you? Future State's finished is wearing me out. Yeah, Future State's bad. Newest issue of Snake Eyes, which this Snake Eyes Dead game's been insane, but it's Liefeld, so of course it's insane. Newest issue of Nightwing, which I haven't read yet because I haven't read the first issue. I got this because of Donovan, who suggested it, but they didn't have the first issue at my shop, so I haven't read it yet. I'm going to wait till I can get the first issue. Either I'll get on Comixology or I'll get a copy off eBay or something. Newest issue of X-Force. I haven't read issue 16 yet, so I didn't read this one. And same case with Star Wars. Newest issue of Star Wars, but I haven't read it yet because I'm a bit behind on Star Wars. So, these 3 issues I haven't read, but I read everything else that I picked up today. So, I primarily want to talk about Future State and King in Black, but I also want to talk about Thor, because I just caught up on Thor, and Thor is freaking amazing. Don't hate that Nightwing issue? Yeah, exactly. Superman looks like Hercules. Yeah, he's got that, he's got the thing. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the newest issue of Superman Future State, because I made a video on the first issue because it was the first time we had someone other than Bendis writing Superman in a long time, like in an actual solo book. So I made a video on it, and then the second issue I just didn't feel like making it. Like, issue 2 is better than issue 1, but it's still like, man, this is just disappointing to see how, like, I don't know if I necessarily blame Philip Kennedy Johnson or more just how dumb Future State is. Like, I think it's more the circumstances of Future State, and it's not a good template, especially for this. Like, it's 2 issues. Like, the first issue was all build up, and it was like the first issue was all build up, and you got like 3 pages of Superman and in total like the story was like 19 pages, when the rest of it was all like 3 other stories. You had like a Black Racer story, a Midnighter story, and then a Mr. Miracle story, a new Mr. Miracle. And that was it, and you pay like $8 or $9 for it, which sucked. And then same case with this issue, but at least this one you get more Superman, but still following that one girl that I don't know and don't really care about. Appreciate MK. What's up, Luis? Got a lot of indie books, manga, DC Comics, very little Marvel. Marvel's got some good stuff. Marvel's got Thor, Wolverine, X-Force. Marvel's actually got some, and Darth Vader. Marvel's actually got some good stuff right now, surprisingly. I'm actually like enjoying Marvel more than DC right now because DC is so bad with Future State. But this storyline was like, we learned that Superman went to Warworld to free all the slaves on Warworld, and he's just repeatedly getting killed by Mongol, and then Mongol's resurrecting him to kill him again. And it just kind of, we have no context for it, so it's like, yeah, it makes sense for Superman to go and free slaves, but like, this has been going on for a while. Why'd he just now decide, oh yeah, all those slaves have been suffering on Warworld, now I'm going to go free them? It's like, yeah, it's been, why'd you decide now, Superman? What caused this? And the end of the issue goes, this will continue in Future State House of L or whatever it's called. So it's like, yeah, we got a total of like 38 pages or something in these 2 issues of the Superman story, and it doesn't even conclude anything. And it's like, read more in the House of L, maybe you'll get a conclusion there. And it's just really disappointing. Mikel Hanin, his art is actually really good on Warworld. The stuff on Smallville I don't really care for, but the art, maybe it's just like the colors and stuff, like doesn't work well with his art. But on Warworld actually looks good. All they have to do is make a Planet Hulk-like story about Superman. No, and Superman did it first. I'm sick of that. I hear all the time whenever people see this, they're like, it's Planet Hulk with Superman. Superman did it first. Superman did it first with Superman Exile, where he went to Warworld and took down Mongol and fought, freaking, what's his name? I can't remember his name. But Superman did it way before Warworld. I mean, not Warworld, way before Planet Hulk, but everyone's just all like, oh, Planet Hulk did it because Planet Hulk was more popular. And also, Superman Exile is way better than Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk's overrated. But yeah, that's one of my pet peeves. Anyways, yeah, this story just wasn't very good, and I don't care about the kids on Smallville. Like they go and they find where Superman's actual house was, because the place where the landmark where they say Superman's house was is just a tourist attraction. The real Superman's house, this one girl knows about, because she's just our special protagonist that happens to know. So, yeah, not the biggest fan of this. I still am not giving up hope on Philip Kennedy Johnson. I just blame this more on Future State, and we'll see how he does on Superman. I'm holding out hope. But yeah, this is the 3rd Future State book I've ever read. I haven't, because Future State's just been to me. I haven't been reading much Future State. Let's talk about King in Black, though. King in Black, if you have not read it, has been amazing, and it's basically what death metal should have been, in my opinion, in terms of like sort of elements of the story, to where you have this new big bad that no one ever heard about before, but that kind of has a deep history and is taking people out. Yes, issue 2 also had had 3 other stories aside from the Superman one. You have Superman, then you have a new Mr. Miracle, then you have Black Racer, a new Black Racer, and then you have Midnighter. So you got 4 stories total. And yeah, it's just dumb. What's up, Nighty Night? Yeah, so King in Black, it's really good. I'm excited. I just ordered Volume 2 of Donny Cates' run on Venom. I had read Volume 1, but I hadn't gotten around to get Volume 2 yet. I don't even remember when Volume 2 came out. Not too long ago, but I just ordered that, and that's going to be here Monday. So I'm excited to read that. And so I'm a little behind. So I'm behind on Venom, but still, you don't have to be super far caught up to understand King in Black. But definitely reading the first volume of Venom helped me understand what's going on with Noel. And I really like the history that Cates is building. It's been insane. When Noel just took out Sentry, when Thor comes in and fights freaking Noel in this, and it's awesome. Noel's the big bad in this. He's like the king daddy of all the symbiotes, basically. And there's like a moment when Thor actually shows up, because the whole time you're waiting for Thor, like every issue they're like, where's Thor? And then he shows up, like you see some lightning, and I like audibly was like, it's Thor, which generally doesn't happen. Like this book actually like drew me in to where when Thor showed up, I was like, yeah, I was actually excited. To where generally like that doesn't happen a lot in comics lately, but this story's been so good. Donny Cates is just killing it on this and on Thor, and yeah, it's been really good. He's bringing in also freaking Eddie Brock's son's name is Dylan. It's spelled the same as mine, Dyln. It's just weird reading my name in a comic book, like, because no one has, like, there's no, you have, like, what's his name, like, Electro's name is Dylan, but spelled differently. It's just weird reading your own name a lot. Like, I was reading my own name in these books a lot, because they keep talking, because he's a big part of the book. Do you need to read anything before King in Black? I'd suggest reading the first volume of Donny Cates' Venom run. Like, you probably need to read, you could read other stuff, but I've only read the first volume, and I've understood this with just reading the first volume. So it was the first 12 issues, because it sets up Noel and stuff with that, and so I know enough. Like, there are some things that you can know more of, but I know enough. But yeah, so King in Black's been amazing. I highly recommend it. Man, when Sentry came in, and you're like, oh man, Sentry's gonna just lay waste, and then Noel takes him out. Thor takes off Noel's jaw, and then for the rest of it, he has to like super glue his jaw back on with a what's it called? With a freaking a symbiote. It's cool. It's like, it's fantastic. King in Black's amazing. Like, I don't remember the last time, because DC has both DC and Marvel have events all the time, but I feel like DC has the better events. Like when you think back on events, like the big like universe spanning events and stuff. Yes, King of Black's really good. It's free. I highly recommend King of Black if you're not reading it. But again, you need to read like the first volume of Donny Cates' Venom to understand at least enough of it. You could read all of it, obviously, to understand all of King of Black, but you only need to read like the first 12 issues, and King of Black's been really good. It's like, it's a great event, and it's the best. Like, thinking back on Marvel events, I think the last Marvel event that I actually like enjoyed was maybe the first Civil War. I'm trying to think if there was an event for, oh yeah, I forgot to add the emote, my bad. I forgot to add the emote before the stream. But I don't think there's like, I try that because Marvel doesn't really have that good of events. Like, they do events very often like DC does, but their events aren't that good. Like, DC has a lot of events and they're kind of 50-50, but they still have that 50 part that's good, to where Marvel not really, where this is like one of the best Marvel events in a long time. Yeah, exactly, Logan. That's what I'm saying. Like, Marvel doesn't have, yeah, everyone needs a break from Future State. Future State's been bad. It's weird because like, I'm primarily a DC guy for the most part, but like 2 weeks ago, I freaking, yeah, I didn't read War of the Realms. Yeah, House of M was an event. House of M was okay. It wasn't that great. Oh yeah, they did the, what was it? They did the new Secret Wars with, when Hickman came in. That was like the last big event I was probably excited for Marvel. But then I kind of fell off a few issues, and that was cool at first, and I kind of like fell off and didn't finish it. Well, the event Leviathan was terrible. I was talking about that with the guy at my comic shop today, how DC had that problem, and they still have that problem where they have too many cooks in the kitchen trying to lead the way for what DC should do. Like, they had, at one point, they had like Doomsday Clock, Leviathan, Heroes in Crisis, and I think Metal, like, all going on at once. Like, that's 4 huge events all going on at the same time. I mean, and if you're smart, you choose Doomsday Clock. Like, you just say the others or whatever, and you choose Doomsday Clock. But instead, DC's like, let's just have all these huge events going on at once. But yeah, so King of Black, highly recommend. It's really good. They've even integrated the X-Men into it pretty well. The reveal of Jean in issue 4 was done really well. I know I'm doing some slight spoilers for it if you guys haven't read it, but still, like, you can still read it with knowing, and it's great. Also, Donny Cates makes Iron Man cool, which if you haven't read the comics, you're like, what do you mean? He's so cool in the movies. Iron Man sucks in the comics like 99% of the time. Most people just make him like a dickhead, and no one likes Iron Man in the comics, and he's kind of like just an idiot a lot of the time. Like, there have been some interesting Iron Man storylines, but for the most part, writers just make him a dickhead and like make him the bad guy kind of when it comes to like an opposing issue, like in Civil War, which kind of set the way for it as well. But in this, Iron Man's actually cool. Like, Iron Man's actually cool in King of Black and actually does some useful things and is actually like central to the plot in some ways. Like, he actually does some meaningful things, which is cool because Iron Man doesn't get like any respect in the comics at all. Like, you think he'd get more respect because, well, Tony Stark, considering how central he was to the movies and how popular he is, but he doesn't. Marvel treats him like garbage and they don't know what to do with him. But seeing how Donny Cates wrote him in here, I'd be down for a Donny Cates Iron Man book, honestly. Donny Cates got me into Thor, and I wasn't really ever into Thor. I've never really been into Iron Man, but I would read a Donny Cates Iron Man book because the part that he plays in King of Black's been great. And also the end with freaking, what was it, Captain Universe coming back and taking over Thor. I mean, not Thor. Why did I say Thor? Eddie Brock. Captain Universe taking over Eddie Brock. That's going to be interesting. And now he's going to fight Noel as Eddie Brock. That's going to be cool. I'm excited for the next issue. And yeah, just King in Black. Highly recommend. Best event book since Doomsday Clock. Best Marvel event book since probably the first Civil War. It's really good. Highly recommend if you have not read it. Now let's talk about Thor. Where's issue 12 of Thor, though? Let's talk about Thor. So I caught up. I was really behind on Thor. So I read issues 6 through 12 this past week. Well, I just read 12 today because I just went to my shop today because Washington was snowed in like last week, so I wasn't able to go. But yeah, so currently there's an arc going on with Donald Blake So first off, I gotta say I'm the most casual for Thor fan. I never really cared for Thor. I was never big into Thor, but then once Jason Aaron's gigantic ass run ended, I was like, okay, I'll check out Thor with Donny Cates taking over, because I like Cates. I have read a little bit of his stuff and I like Cates, so I wanted to see what he did with Thor. How many issues is King Black? I'm not sure. It's like 5 or 6 issues, I think. It's 4 issues in, but I think it's 5 or 6 issues, like the whole storyline. I'm not sure though. Get Adventure Books, which is what Superman books are gonna be. Yeah, like Super War Worlds is pretty bad, but yeah, I do agree. Like Philip Kennedy Johnson's good, like world building, and for world building you need time, and he gets like 19 pages for her book, which is not good for time to build like the world of his story. So yeah. But anyway, so yeah, Thor. So this current arc is going on with Donald Blake. Donald Blake was like a long time ago sort of the Clark Kent to Thor's Superman, except they're actually 2 different people. I remember I picked up back in the day, like a decade ago, when Taco Bell did a promotion with Marvel. You bought like a kids meal thing and you got like a Marvel comic, and I got that, and I got a Thor comic from it. You get a random Marvel comic, and I remember reading that and it having Donald Blake in it, and that's like the only thing I've read with Donald Blake, because I'm not a Thor fan. I don't read Thor. But I've been reading Donny Cates Thor because I like Donny Cates, and he's done amazing with Thor so far. The first arc with Galactus was great, and then we get sort of like a couple of filler issues in between arcs, and then it leads into this Donald Blake arc. So Donald Blake was a guy that Odin created for Thor to be his, to sort of help him understand humans. So Donald Blake is a guy that like he walks around, and he was created by Odin. He's not like an actual like person, really. He was created by, he's sentient and everything, but he was created by Odin. And so like he takes it, he's a doctor, he takes his staff, he smacks it on the ground, and then he becomes Thor. And so, but when he does that, Thor goes to another place. When he turns into Thor, he actually goes to another place that Odin created. But when he goes back, like him and Thor switch places. So there's this whole like, there's this infinite sort of, at least how Donny Cates explained it, there's this infinite sort of neighborhood that Donald Blake strolls when he's not like in the real world that Odin created for him. But something weird's going on with the Odin Force, because Odin, I didn't read the prior art, I didn't read Jason Aaron's stuff prior to this, but I think Odin died. I don't remember. I didn't read the thing prior to this, but I think Odin died, so something happened with the Odin Force. But spoilers for issue 12. So if you haven't read issue 12, I'm going to do spoilers for it once I get to the end of my point here. How's it going, Braxton? Hey, what's up, John? Yeah, YouTube's weird with their notifications. But yeah, so Thor. So the Odin Force is weird. So it was keeping Donald Blake like in this infinite place where he would walk around in his infinite neighborhood, but then the Odin Force kind of broke, and so Donald Blake could see through it all and see that he was sort of being hypnotized in this area, and he kind of broke, and he ended up killing everyone in that place that Odin made for him, and was like, screw all this, and realized where his place in the universe, realized that he was made as a toy for a god, because that's essentially what he was. Odin made Donald Blake to sort of teach Thor a lesson and give him like perspective on humanity. And so Donald Blake's like, no, I'm an actual person, you know, I'm not like some toy for this rich god, this privileged god, like screw you. So he broke out after killing everyone, and when he did that, him and Thor switched places because Thor wanted to talk to Donald Blake because of some other things that were going on. Because currently in this storyline, again, stuff with the Odin Force is going weird. Anyone can pick up Mjolnir currently because of everything that's going on with the Odin Force, with it being so messed up. So anyone can pick up Mjolnir right now, and so he wanted to go and talk to he wanted to switch places with Donald Blake to go talk to potentially Odin, because that place where he's at is a place where he can speak to Odin. It's a weird thing. Again, I'm a very casual Thor fan. This is the first Thor arc this is the first Thor series that I'm actually reading, because I never cared for Thor, and then I started reading Donny Cates stuff. So yeah, so he switches places with him, and that brings Donald Blake to our world, to 616 Marvel 616 universe. And when he's there, he starts taking out everyone that's ever been Thor. So there are all these other people, because remember, a bunch of different people have been Thor. Like, he fights Beta Ray Bill, destroys poor Beta Ray Bill. Freaking Frog Thor kicks his ass for a bit, and then the tables turn. He beats up Doctor Strange, because apparently Doctor Strange had some of the Odin Force at a point, like, not too long ago. I haven't read Doctor Strange, but not too long ago, he got in a fight with Loki, and he got some of the Odin Force by going to, like, the Life Tree, or whatever it's called, and that leads him to the Life Tree. But the end of this leads with Valkyrie, who's Jane Foster, is now, like, the last living Valkyrie. I don't know what happened to the Valkyries, whatever. She goes and she finds Odin. So Odin's still alive, but he's in some, like, bar in space or something. So I don't know what's going on with that. Because, again, I thought he was dead, but Odin's still alive. He's, like, just some ripped dude in a bar drinking now. So I don't know, but she's getting Odin because no one can keep up with Donald Blake. Because Donald Blake is going and killing everyone and taking their Odin Force. So everyone that has ever been a Thor, he's killing them and taking their Odin Force, but then he realizes he doesn't need to do that. He can just go to, like, the Life Tree or whatever it was called to get the Odin Force. So he's been doing that. So he just did that, and now he's, like, incredibly powerful. And essentially no one can stop him except possibly Thor, but Thor's stuck in that other universe, place, whatever it is. And so he can't really do much, and so Valkyrie knows she can't take him on one-on-one, so she's like, I'm going to go and get Odin. So she goes and grabs Odin, and that's where issue 12 ends. So we'll see where the next issue goes and what's going to happen. I wonder if they're going to have Donald Blake kill Odin now. That would be interesting. Obviously, Thor's going to have to fight Donald Blake. I wonder how that's going to go, because there's no way they do this whole arc and Odin just takes him out and they don't have Thor fight Donald Blake. There's no way. But yeah, Donny Cates is just killing it. King in Black and Thor are amazing and highly recommend. I caught up, I finished reading Matthew Rosenberg's Hawkeye Freefall. Like, the first issue or two of the series was terrible. Like, I read it and I was like, oh man. Because Hawkeye's a character that I love and I will support pretty much no matter what. Yeah, X-Men Legends. Yeah, I wanted to pick that up, but they didn't have any at my shop. I was going to check that out. They did, purely for Brett Booth's art, but they didn't have it. But yeah, Hawkeye Freefall, I added to my pull list essentially because I do like some Matthew Rosenberg stuff. I thought his X-Men was okay, and I enjoyed his Punisher run. It wasn't amazing or anything, but it was fun, and it had some good moments. The art was a little weird. So I'd added Hawkeye Freefall to my playlist, to my pull list when it initially came out, and the first, like, issue or two I was like, man, this is really bad, but then things started getting to place and actually it got really good. It was really interesting, and I just read the final 2 issues, which I had for a while, but I'd been putting off because I procrastinate everything I do. So I read it. It's actually really good. It's also got Otto Schmidt's art, who's the guy that did some Green Arrow Rebirth art, so highly recommend, like, even just for his art. But if you're a Hawkeye fan, if you can get through, like, the first 2 issues, it's worth it. But oh man, yeah, Robert, imagine being poor and not having emotes. But the first 2 issues, it was rough, but then things start taking place and it's actually good, and we get some stuff Bullseye, and yeah, it's actually it's pretty good. I like the ending. It sucks that we don't have another Hawkeye book on the horizon though. I wish we would get more, because yeah, this is actually pretty solid. I'm doing good. How about you, Aaron? And yeah, I'm excited to read Nightwing Future State, but I haven't read it. Darth Vader, it's been pretty solid. It's funny because, like, aside from, I don't think Kieran Gillen's used it too much, but Greg Pak and Charles Soules have used a lot of, like, the prequels. Like, they use a lot of prequel flashbacks to sort of, like, set things up and add, like, emotional weight to their stories. So it's funny seeing that repeated. I mean, I hope the Hawkeye TV show's good. I have no clue. We'll see, because that Hawkeye in the MCU is much different than the Hawkeye in the comics, so we'll see how that goes. I like the casting, though, of, what's her name? Haley Steinfeld. I like the casting. I think she's a good pick. But yeah, Darth Vader, this was pretty good. We get another giant, like, space squid, though, which I think they need to limit that in DC. Because, we're getting a room cleaning stream. That's what the trash bags are there for, dude. I've been cleaning. I've just too lazy. But I've been slowly cleaning. That's why there's trash bags. I've been slowly cleaning the stuff in here. And my camera's out of focus now. It's back in focus. But yeah, Darth Vader's pretty good. It's definitely worth reading. The space squid thing was kind of stupid, but we got to see Vader literally just force choke a giant space squid. So that was interesting. You hear about Supergirl casting? Yeah, I talked about it on my Twitch stream the other night. I don't care about Supergirl at all. I think she's a stupid character, to be honest, and I wish she never would have been created. I don't think Supergirl's a good character. I think she's dumb, and so I don't really care about her casting her being anything. I do think it's dumb that we're having another big character in the Flash movie, because this is gonna be Flash's first movie. Flash is a popular DC character, but it's gonna be a lot of people's like first time really seeing anything about the Flash, and so for the first movie to be Flashpoint is dumb. But then to add so many different, because you're gonna have like what, Affleck's Batman, you're gonna have Burton's Batman, you're gonna have I don't even remember who else, but Supergirl. You're gonna have so many different like guest stars. It's like where's the time for the Flash? Plus, a Matthew Rosenberg's Punisher. It's pretty good. I liked it. It wasn't amazing or anything, but there were some good moments. I liked it. The art was kind of weird. Like, the art was a little weird. It's not the best, but I liked it. It was good. It was a fun time. Not like one of the best ever. Are you gonna read Nick Spencer's Spider-Man? Probably not. Spider-Man's one of those characters I talked about before. How I like Spider-Man, but I've never been like super into reading Spider-Man. Like, I've read a couple runs. I enjoyed them, but like, I don't know. Just Spider-Man's a character that I don't really care to keep up with. There's like so much with Spider-Man. Ryan Stegman's Spider-Man's beautiful, by the way. In King in Black, he draws some Spider-Man, and it's great. Last month they just cast a new role. Yeah, true. That's gonna be interesting. Ugh. What's up, Jay Johnson? Big characters in the Flash. For the Supergirl's just a character that I just never really cared for, and I feel like there was never really a point, and she again also takes away from the whole like Last Son of Krypton. Like, there's a cool narrative of Last Son of Krypton, but then it's like, okay, Zod and his cronies survived. Okay, I guess it makes sense because they were put in the Phantom Zone. Okay, and then and then the entire bottled city of Kandor, the entire capital survived. It's like, okay, I guess Brainiac kept that, and then there were more people. Like in New 52, there was Hell. Like, Hell survived, and then you also have like the guy that destroyed Krypton, Rag al Zar. He's like, you have all these. It's like, okay, like freaking everyone from Krypton survived. It's not Last Son of Krypton. It's like freaking the 10,000th son of Krypton survived. And Supergirl's just a character that there have been, like with any character, there have been interesting stories, but she's someone that like I just feel like there was no need for, and they kind of were just like, we need a Superman that appeals to the female market, let's get Supergirl. And they never really know what to do with her a lot of the time too. Like, I don't know, I just never really cared for Supergirl. So when they cast Supergirl, I was like, I just could not care less. Wish they got the cover artist to do interiors. Yeah, I feel that way about a lot of books. But yeah, the Superman Batman storyline from Jeff Loeb and Michael Turner. Michael Turner's art's freaking beautiful. But the Superman Batman Supergirl storyline was okay. Some of the stuff like with the Amazonians was interesting, but I don't know. I didn't really care for that. I thought that was one of the weaker storylines during that run, to be honest. But that's just me. I don't really care for Supergirl. They're just doing no, he's OP, or even with all his limbs chopped off. I know, yeah, I love it too. Like, Vader's just a force to be reckoned with in the Vader series, especially like Greg Pak's run. He loses all his limbs. I love at the end. Here, let me read what the final like monologue from Vader is at the end of Vader. So Vader was sent through the Emperor put Vader on a test to where he threw him on Mustafar and was like, hey, defeat like some assassins I'm gonna send to you without the Force. Don't use the Force or bad things will happen to you. And Vader starts using the Force, and let me get to that part. And like the dude he's with is like, wait, he's like, you're using the Force, that's cheating, the Emperor will kill you for that. And Vader said, many have made such promises, they hoped to fill me with fear, but fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to power. He's like, so now let the Emperor fear me. That's so badass. I love that. That's amazing. Like, after killing a giant ass space squid that everyone was afraid, he literally, Vader, I kid you not, with a droid arm that he attached to himself because he lost his other limb, force chokes a giant ass space squid. And then says, let the Emperor fear me. It is awesome. Dumb, you never got into Spider-Man because it's one of the most popular super. I like Spider-Man, but I've never like love Spider-Man. There's just so much with Spider-Man. Like, there's so many series, and like it's all over the place. And a lot of times they're like, we want him to be the kid that lives with Aunt May and like goes to the Daily Bugle and does his thing. Oh, we want him to be married and possibly have kids and also work at and also like be a teacher and stuff. It's like, I feel like they're too torn on it, and like there's too much. Like, Spider-Man's too big at this point where they do too much with him, and I'm just like, I don't feel like getting into it. I read some stuff like Spider-Man Life Story because that was like its self-contained thing, like 6 issues. I enjoyed Spider-Man Life Story. It was good, but I'm never gonna like add Spider-Man to my pull list. Same, yeah. The Superman Batman arcs, Public Enemies was like the first actual collected trade I ever read, and it's so amazing. Public Enemies is so good. There was a lot of great stories during that. Public Enemies was so good, and I think that was the best Ed McGuinness's art has ever been as well. Because Ed McGuinness always has this thing where he makes people a little like too big, but in that, like, the proportions were a little better. Like, I don't know what it was, but during that storyline, he made them like look a little better. I still love Ed McGuinness's art, but I feel like in that, like, he peaked. But Public Enemies was also something that I was like, this is prime for a movie. This storyline would be perfectly for a movie. And then they did an animated movie, and I don't know what book they based it off of, but it wasn't Public Enemies. Did you read Scott Snyder's Justice League? Yes, it was up and down. There were some good moments, like the Sixth Dimension storyline, which was co-written by Jorge Jimenez, who's a huge Superman fan, so I think that might be why that one was better. But then there was some other dumb stuff where, like, Snyder got way too cosmic with it and was like, ever since Endgame, which I love Batman Endgame, he's been very much just, everything's gotta be bigger and crazier, and it's like, no, it doesn't, don't know. I'm excited about the new Mortal Kombat movie. The trailer was good. That part where he freezes a dude's blood, where Sub-Zero freezes the guy's blood and then stabs him with it, was sick. But I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat fan or anything, but I'll watch it, probably. Why did I not like Jason Todd being the Arkham Knight? Because he's already Red Hood. Why give him another identity? It's dumb, and you can see it from a mile away. Like, the whole marketing was like, who's the Arkham Knight? And then it's like, oh, it's Jason Todd, like the first time you see him. You can watch my first playthrough on this channel. When I first run into Arkham Knight, I'm like, it's Jason Todd. And I was right. Like, was like 30 minutes or an hour into the game, however long, you immediately know. It's, favorite Superman artist? Gary Frank. Probably. Once Gary Frank sort of found his own way, like, for a while, he just, like, it's still a little bit like that, but he made him more like his own Superman. But for a while, it was just Christopher Reeve's Superman, like, that's how he drew him. But then he sort of, like, molded him and made his own Superman, which I much prefer that. But Gary Frank and Jim Lee are my favorite, because when it comes to Superman. Because Jim Lee's Superman in For Tomorrow, oh my goodness. Just amazing. But, sadly, For Tomorrow's not that good of a book. It's a birthmark. It was before that. Just thought that line was a yeah. Yeah, the Arkham Knight is an original character. And, like, man, I'm still, like, why wouldn't you make the Arkham Knight Jim Gordon Jr.? James Gordon Jr.? Like, come on. It would have been perfect. I don't understand, like, no one would have seen it coming except for me because I said it, but James Gordon Jr. is someone without a persona that would make sense that you could put in. Come on. The only thing with James Gordon Jr. that would be hard in Arkham Knight is the fact that he was never mentioned before in the Arkham series. So if you subtly start mentioning him with James is like, yeah, my son's visiting Gotham today, it would be like, I wonder if that guy is the Arkham Knight. And then you just see he's like shredded and you're like, Jim Gordon's son that just showed up and is ripped might be the Arkham Knight. But you could still do it well. But yeah, it would be hard for people not to guess. Oh, Romita Jr. I remember that New 52 when they got Romita Jr. from Marvel and they're like, wow, we got this new premier artist. He's trying Superman. The way he draws people flying where they're like stiff as a board like this and like that's how people fly. It's like, what? Like, he draws everyone flying the same. But I still maintain that, like, Romita Jr.'s art I can deal with if they're wearing a mask. If they're not wearing a mask, it's awful. But if they're wearing a mask, like, his Spider-Man's alright. Like, it's not great or anything. But if he has to draw a face, it's not good. Officer Balls would have been great. Back from the dead, Officer Balls. Or Aaron Cash the whole time was bad. Quincy Sharp was the Arkham Knight.
I do but stuff said Warzone, 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 Warzone.
So that's James in Discord. I think you guys could hear that. James doing the text-to-speech in Discord wanting to play Warzone. I think I have stream set up to where you guys.
I do but stuff said lurl 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 lurl.
James, oh my goodness, that's James in Discord.
I do but stuff said do do bob 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 jub 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 do 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 bob 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 jub jub jub. That's the Discord mating call, basically. When anyone wants to play games and no one's in Discord, you just do the text to speech. Said uwu.
Oh my.
Uwu. Uwu.
And now Robert's
Uwu.
Robert knows I'm streaming. James doesn't know. Robert knows I'm streaming and he's doing this.
Uwu. 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 I do but stuff said.
Oh my goodness, stop. Alright. Well, we might switch over to Warzone in a minute, over to Twitch. But
I do but stuff said pile up poo 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 pile up poo.
Mute that. He just did the poop emoji over and over again, and that's how it reads it. Alright, we should be over with the text-to-speech right now. I think I have it muted. Oh my goodness. Alright. That Robert Pattinson's yeah, I saw that like rumor, but that's obviously fake. There's no way that's real. The Batman rumor, that's obviously fake. Well, you stopped doing comic reviews? What do you mean? I literally just talked about Future State Superman like 2 weeks ago. I just do it when like there's a book that really interests me, and that book interested me at first and then fell off. But next book I might talk about its whole. I'm not sure. I might do one on Snake Eyes Dead game when that ends. Because Snake Eyes Dead game has been a roller coaster. It's been nuts. Like, Rob Liefeld is like, this story's so nuts. It's so dumb, but it's fun. And at least we have like a second channel. Yeah, I've had a second channel for a while. That's where I post like the stream highlights and stuff and other games. But what was I? It's dead game. So G.I. Joe's been terrible in the comics for a long time. For a while there was like a golden age during IDW where it was really good. You had Chuck Dixon and Mike Costa doing some great things, and then it died because they decided to like kick them off and bring in new people, and you got guys like Aubrey Sitterson, and it was awful, and they didn't know what to do, and they didn't know the direction they wanted G.I. Joe, and they killed Snake Eyes. But now we have this like just random ass miniseries that deals with like freaking different mythology and Snake Eyes fighting like a zombie ninja god guy, and it's nuts, but it's fun. And the art is Rob Liefeld art, so like up close it looks decent, and then when he does like the faraway shots, there's just no effort whatsoever. It looks awful. So, yeah. Thoughts on Nightwing during Future State? I haven't read it. I heard it was good, but the first issue I couldn't find, but the second issue was at my shop, so I picked it up, and then I'll figure out. I'll either buy it on Comixology or I'll get a copy off eBay and read it there. Favorite MCU movie? Iron Man 1 or Infinity War. One of those two. They're both really good. With Sam Fisher, Splinter Cell vibes. Snake Eyes isn't like Sam Fisher at all. I hope this brings more Snake Eyes. Like, we're getting a Snake Eyes movie. I think like this. I think it was supposed to come out this year, 2021. I don't know if that's still happening with COVID and everything, but we're getting a Snake Eyes movie, so I'm hoping that they ramp up on things. They did a new toy line like a year or two ago. I'm hoping that Hasbro's like goes more all in on G.I. Joe. It's like, we're going to do more G.I. Joe. I've not read Robin Eternal. Oh, the way Nightwing died was so dumb. He jumped on a grenade and died. And that was it. And I was like, okay. Favorite Marvel villain? That's the thing, like, we talked about this before on stream, actually. People have asked me my favorite Marvel villain. I'm like, man, DC has all the good villains. When it comes to Marvel, like, when I think of villains, I think more X-Men. Like, it might be, like, Sabretooth or Magneto for, like, my favorite Marvel villain. Because for a lot of times, like, Marvel's villains aren't the best, in my opinion. But maybe that's because Spider-Man supposedly has the best villains, and I don't read a whole lot of Spider-Man. Oh, the Snake Eyes movie is 100% going to be terrible. The director and stuff they have on it looks awful. But I hope it's good. I like Rob Pattinson's suit from what we've seen of it. I like the BVS suit the best. But, yeah. But yeah, so I think that was most of the comics I want to talk about. This was sort of an impromptu stream because I wasn't sure if I wanted to stream today or tomorrow. But tomorrow I have to pick up my brother from the airport and I have to wake up early to do that. So I know I'm going to be dead tomorrow. So I wanted to do the Energist stream. So went to my comic shop, read some comics, watched the fights, watched Derek Lewis kill Curtis Blades. Kind of sad, but also an insane knockout. But now I think I'm going to switch over to Warzone on Twitch. So me and the boys are going to play some Warzone. If you want to watch that, we'll put the link in. It's in the description. We'll also put it on in the stream chat. I just entered it right there. If you guys want to watch the Twitch stream, it's right there. So if you guys want to, you can join the Twitch stream. So we're going to be switching over to Twitch, playing Warzone with the boys. And yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was a fun stream. I enjoyed talking to you. Again, we're going to be switching over to Twitch. I'm still streaming, just not here on YouTube. I'm going to be streaming on Twitch, playing Warzone. So, I'll be live in like 2 minutes. I just got to end this stream and then start that one on Twitch. So, yeah. Appreciate everyone showing up. It was fun talking comics. Maybe I'll do a YouTube stream tomorrow as well. I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, going to be streaming on Twitch immediately after ending this Twitch